shall move on to the next speaker, who also happens to be the past president of the Utama Toastmasters Club. He was also, at one point in time, the club's most eligible bachelor, but now happily married. The objectives for this speech are as follows. Develop an entertaining dramatic talk about an experience or incident. Include vivid imagery, characters and dialogue. Deliver the talk in an entertaining manner. The time is 5 to 7 minutes. Time now. The speaker who shall come forth to speak next, as I mentioned earlier, is a past president of our club. At one point in time, used to be the most eligible bachelor in the club. However, now has transformed himself into a most respectably married man with 3 beautiful children. Now, for those of us who know and love this past president of ours, we know for a fact that he is certainly no wildlife expert. Yes, I repeat, wildlife expert he is not. But tonight, he shall talk to us about the birds and the bees. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Alan Pham, the birds and the bees. Alan Pham.
Perhaps I need to chat with you later to find out who was going to found me most eligible back then. Then we can talk about the birds and the bees. The year was 1991, and us boys in this boys' school, we were looking forward to science class that day. We had been waiting for years, we've been waiting for weeks, and finally, the time that we're going to learn more about our bodies. Not our bodies, but about the female body. And we heard from the more playful class, we don't say last class, okay? But the more playful class, they had a fun time because they had an intern teacher who was so graphic, who engaged all the question and answers. So to us, we say that, wow, this is gonna be revelation time. And on that day, Puan Kalimantan decides to turn up in science class, pregnant as she was. Very strict face, and she looked at us straight in the face. Boys, today we're gonna learn about biology, about male-female body. You mark my words. I see any of you smiling. Are you smiling there? Laughing. I see a smirk. I'll slap you and tell you. So imagine the great hope of fun that we had was curtailed to pure theoretical lessons. We didn't know what, I mean, we saw some diagrams and that was just about it. So that was my version of birds and the bees. Now zoom into today with what you have in the internet. Things are just so graphic, it is scary, right? And my 9-year-old son decides to challenge me in this area the other day. He's just 9 years of age, right? And my wife Karen says that you better have that talk now. I said, why? Kyron has been mentioning someone in school commit sex. What? Said, yeah. Said, you don't commit sex, you have sex. Said, okay, but this is serious, you gotta talk to him. So, I had to settle him out. I was saying that, son, what's this I hear about commit sex? He said, yeah, one of my friends say he did it. I said, did it at 9 years of age? So I said, most likely, I'm sure your friend didn't do it because there is nothing to do in the first place. So let Papa tell you something this evening. So he was a very good boy. He was like waiting. And to begin with, I had to describe the anatomies involved. So for the non-Malaysians, we don't say penis, we don't say penis, we just say cuckoo. Yeah, and when I say that, he laughed just like you all. And what's the word that we use for the other spectrum? Madam Chan is saying, yeah, it is not punani. Okay, the kids version is, I'll just say we're all adults here, right? So it is pepet. And he also laughed because, Papa is saying this. So I said, yeah, you know, you gotta have one of those, and the girl has gotta have one of those. And then I was trying to depict a good righteous picture. I said that when they're in love, when they're married, right, and they're ready, they will have sex, and it's a very beautiful thing. they don't commit sex, you only commit crime. And of course, we also know some people actually really do commit sex, right? So I was trying to just explain this whole part, then he was saying, how does it happen? I said, so I said that I was trying to use the choo-choo train, going through the tunnel, but my son would have none of that. So I just said that, yeah, it's going to be a sperm. I said, what's a sperm? There's this thing that's in your body. He said, it's in your body. I said, yeah, but it's not there now. It's not there now, what happened to me? So I said that, son, when the time is right, you notice changes in your voice. Changes in my voice? I said, yeah. But that's going to be a long time from now. So when the time is right and you love your wife so much, your wife loves you so much, this will travel through, right? And then the egg from the lady said, eggs? I said, yeah. I said, how do ladies hatch the eggs? I said, no, son, these are very small eggs. I said, how do eggs come? So, I'm not touched about menstruation here. So I said that, you know what? It is a very beautiful thing. But you don't need to know so much now because you should not be knowing. But Papa wants to have this talk to you because I think that friend of yours who's going around telling everyone that's committing sex, he's just trying to get attention. Right? And you should be concentrating on your studies now. One of these days, you're going to learn it more in biology, and with more questions, you can ask Papa in the future. Okay? Okay, so before you ask me a question, I said I'm done, and I told Karen, she was just looking at me. Now, that whole experience to me, ladies and gentlemen, felt like my first time having a bath inside a kampong. You know, if you had a bath inside a kampong, you don't strip all the way down to your birthday suit. You actually do it with a sarong, and you just, hot as it is, you just splash some water. So I felt relief, but I also didn't feel totally clean. I didn't feel like I finished the job, but I'm glad I did it. The moral of the story is this: like it or not, compared to the days that Puan Halimatul tried to guard what is it that we're going to understand, what we don't, the children, our children today don't have that kind of a choice. If we don't engage them, distorted messages will fill in their minds. And someone wise once said an empty mind is a devil's workshop. Right? So the day will come when I have to also explain to my son why certain people love other people and all these things, which are valid questions when it comes to time. But my appeal to all of you to help us parents is engage your family members before the world engages them. The things that you see in the media, they are frightening, right? And I look at it, it was really a bit of an uncomfortable experience, but I look back at it, I think, or I know, if anyone's going to talk about sex to my children, it better be me. And I've got one more daughter who is 4 years right now. I've got a lot of chance to practice. Do that to your respective children, to your niece, to your nephew, to your neighbors, because if you don't engage them, they're going to engage us. Meanwhile, if you have a better version than the train going through the tunnel, I welcome the chance to interact with you during break time. Back to you, Toastmaster.